Well, happy Monday. I hope you are having a great start to your day. And if you are not, we're going to talk about that today. All right. So, no worries. If you are new here, I want to introduce myself. I'm Jessica, and I'm the founder of the domesticmusician.com. It's a music education website for music teachers just like you. And I love talking to other music teachers and getting to know you and sharing what I know with you so you can beat the overwhelm in your teaching. So, today we're going to talk about that. It's springtime, and you are very well aware of that. If you are teaching in your classroom, you're very aware that it's springtime. The dynamic in your school building is different. The students coming into your classroom, the what am I trying to say? The energy level it's real. Okay, they act like they've eaten a bunch of pixie sticks every day, and you are just like you feel like you just have a bunch of squirrels running around your classroom. And so, first of all, I want to share a quick story, and then I'm going to share with you some strategies that you can use to help you not only beat the overwhelm in your teaching, but deal with if you're feeling burnt out. So, I was actually talking to a teacher yesterday, a teacher friend of mine yesterday, and she was saying to me how she feels very overwhelmed right now and very like yesterday was Sunday, obviously, and she said, I just don't even feel like going back to school tomorrow. And I stopped her right there and I said, I completely remember those feelings you're feeling. And there would be some days I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go. And I told her what I'm going to tell you. It's completely normal to feel overwhelmed. It's completely normal to feel burnt out. It's completely normal to feel like some days you're going through the motions and you just don't give a care. Okay. So let me tell you right now, I'm just, if you know me and if this is your first time to meet me, I just say what I'm thinking and I keep it real with you. Okay. So what I want to tell you is it is completely normal to feel that way. I feel like a lot of times what's missing is you get good advice and you get good, even from the mentor teachers in your school building, good advice. Oh, it's good. Just keep going. Stay positive. And yes, those things are so very important. Of course they are. You don't want to walk in every day being a negative Nelly and, Miss Pessimistic Patty in your classroom. But what I'm wanting to tell you is it's normal to feel overwhelmed. It is normal to feel like some days I just don't want to. I don't want to go through the motions. Let's backtrack. You feel like you're going through the motions and you don't know how to find your joy with teaching like you used to. So let me tell you what I told her. Like I said, it's normal to feel that way, but here's what I want to encourage you to do. Don't keep internalizing those emotions and feelings. Don't keep just feel them. You're not a robot, okay? And I just shared that in my Facebook group. Feel those feelings and then let them go. You're like, okay, wow, that's easier said than done. Like, hello, like I just had a screaming class and I have another one coming in here and I don't feel like doing it because those kids were so disrespectful last week. I don't know if I want to even teach them today. I get it. I really do. But what I'm trying to get at is a lot of it is your mindset, okay? A lot of it is, for me, I'm speaking from personal experience here, okay? So I'm going to share, like I said, what I know with you. I notice the days I get up on the wrong side of the bed and I feel overwhelmed and I feel like I'm just in a bad mood and I feel like I don't feel like doing it. That sometimes translates into your classroom. So even if your kids are being disrespectful, they're not listening, they're very squirrely, you feel like you're not even teaching music, you're just dealing with constant interruptions and behavior issues, take a breath, first of all, okay? And then think, how am I thinking right now? What am I doing to make this worse or better? Can I change the way they're being right now? Probably not, because spring break's coming up, right? With classroom management, yes, it is your classroom. I'm not just saying let them go crazy and run around and, be like they're at a playground. But what I'm saying is, first of all, think about what time of year it is. It's going to be different than it was in August or September. It just is. So go in knowing that, take a deep breath, say, okay, I'm going to go in calm. I'm going to pick up this class and still have a smile on my face. I'm going to still teach them. I'm going to still love on them. I'm going to still encourage them. I'm going to still teach music, even if I feel like they're not listening to a thing I'm saying. I bet you they are listening to more than you think they are, by the way, and learning more than you think they are. Then I want to encourage you, if you haven't been in the morning, even if it's just your drive to school, if you have not been listening to a podcast, praying, listening to music, even if it's not kid music, which, by the way, actually does help a lot because you're doing that all day long. If you're just listening to some kind of music you enjoy, it really makes a difference. Doing some kind of, even if you're just sitting in a quiet car, sometimes just no sound at all really helps you just take some deep breaths and process your thoughts before you step foot into the school building. Now, maybe you've already started your Monday and you're like, well, I can't go back and do that. Of course not. But maybe tomorrow you can. Maybe you're already there and maybe you're in your second class and you're, stressed out, or maybe you're watching the replay of this at the end of the day and you just had one of those Mondays that you hear about, a case of the Mondays, and you're just like, I can't even, this is ridiculous. So it's a lot of it is what I'm trying to get at is mindset. I feel like I'm kind of all over the place, but mindset, you guys, are you taking care of yourself first? And I talk about that. I included the link to the blog post there in the podcast episode I recorded. Are you recharging your batteries? At the end of the day, are you giving yourself even maybe 10 minutes to go on a walk, to just sit and watch your favorite show? I mean, the shows are longer than 10 minutes, but you know what I'm getting at. Get yourself a Starbucks coffee on your way home or whatever it is to recharge your batteries. If you had a bad day, put it out of your mind when you get home. Don't think about it. Don't dwell on it all day. Don't keep rehashing things you could have done better, or things that didn't go well, but just put it aside and really take care of yourself. Okay. So what I told her is, don't internalize those feelings forever. Think about those feelings, really acknowledge them, and then let them go. Okay. Don't hold on to them because that's going to start bringing you down. Internalize those feelings. Don't internalize the feelings. That's not what I meant. Have the feelings and then let them go. Okay. Don't keep beating yourself up and say, I'm not good enough. I can't do this. I'm not meant to do this. They should have known who I was when they hired me. No. A bad day does not make a bad teacher. A bad week does not make a bad teacher. A bad month, a bad school year does not make a bad teacher. A lot of times, especially if you're new to teaching, it's a learning curve. Maybe you've never experienced springtime in the music room before, and you're like, oh my gosh, what is happening? It's not you, it's your students. It's the time of year. It's spring breaks right around the corner. Let's be honest, puberty is happening to some of your kids right now. Things happen that are out of your control. And so knowing that makes you really not take it all personally and make it about you, okay? Sometimes it's out of your control. So real quick, I'm going to talk about some things I wrote about in this blog post and in the podcast episode. And I like to do two different ways. I write a blog post because some people like to read, and then I record a podcast episode because you like to listen. And I know I like to do both ways. So I like to give you different options so you can either listen or read or watch a Facebook Live too. So the first thing I want to do, like I said, is don't internalize it. So talk about your feelings. If you're feeling overwhelmed, talk about it. Maybe you don't know who to talk to about it. Maybe you're feeling, kind of insecure, and maybe you feel like you're the only one feeling that way. It's not true. You are not the only one feeling overwhelmed. And maybe in your school building, you think, if I tell these other teachers I'm feeling overwhelmed and burnt out, they're going to think I don't like my job. They're going to think I'm ready to quit. They're going to think I'm, not doing a good enough job. But it's not true. Maybe don't just go blast it to every teacher in your school, but maybe you have a teacher you feel comfortable talking about it with, or maybe you don't feel comfortable talking about it with someone in your school. Then there's a friend who maybe doesn't even know anything about the education system. Talk to them about it. Just say, hey, I'm feeling these feelings. I'm feeling overwhelmed. And you know what? That friend who maybe works at a bank or works at a business, maybe they're like, you know what? I can't relate to exactly what you're talking about, but I do have my own children. I'm a parent and I feel overwhelmed a lot. Or I have employees. I feel overwhelmed some days and burnt out because I feel like leading these meetings, I keep saying the same thing over and over and these employees aren't listening to me. It's not just teaching. I feel like a lot of people in their workplace feel overwhelmed and burnt out. And so I want to encourage you to just talk to someone, okay? Don't just keep it all to yourself. Recharge your batteries. We talked about that. Find time to recharge your batteries, even if it's just 10 minutes. Something to do for you. We've talked about this before. You can't pour into others unless you pour into yourself first. You can't keep giving, giving, giving to your kids, to your spouse, to your friends, to your family, to your students, to your colleagues, to people in your district, if you are not taking care of yourself first. When you start feeling like you're getting like, oh my gosh, beat down to the ground, is when you are not finding time to recharge your batteries. I noticed that with my own life. Give, 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 give. When have I done anything for me? And a lot of people say, well, that's selfish. It feels like you feel selfish if you say no to plans because you need to take time for you and just stay at home and just honestly do nothing. Doing nothing sometimes is the best thing, because when you do nothing sometimes, that's when your batteries get the most recharged. So if you get asked out, even if after school, hey, we're going to happy hour, do you want to come? And you say no, and they're like, oh, she never wants to do anything. It's okay. First of all, one of the things I stopped doing a long time ago was caring about what others thought about me. I'm just being honest. Do I walk around like, I don't care what anybody, no, that's not what I mean. But if you have these little comments, or you're just constantly doing things because you're worried that other people are going to think, oh, she never wants to do anything, or she's so antisocial, or he doesn't like us. Don't worry about their feelings. You have to take care of you. If you feel like you're just giving to your students, to your colleagues, to your friends, to your family, and you're feeling like overwhelmed beyond words, and you're trying to tackle everything on your to-do list, and you're just feeling like anxiety and overwhelm is beating you down, it's because you have not taken time for self-care. And like I said, self-care is not selfish. It's not selfish, because you can't keep giving to others if you're not taking care of you. I noticed that I can't pull from an empty cup. I can't keep giving. And so it's just, that's so true. And please know that when I stopped caring about what others thought, and I stopped constantly saying yes to all the things, and I took care of myself, I noticed a lot of times it really, really helps so much. Okay. And I wanted to also mention, it's okay if you have lesson plans planned and you feel like they're not going anywhere, and you feel like your kids aren't listening, and you feel like, oh, I've done this song, we've done this instrument activity before, but now my students, or similar ones, my students aren't responding to them and they're just crazy right now. It's because, like I said earlier, it's the time of year. It's okay to change up your plans. Bring in more technology. Do more movement. Do more instrument activities. If your kids can't handle instruments right now, movement, movement, movement. Get them up and moving. This time of year especially. This is the perfect time of year also, the national standards, this is the time of year also with a lot of state standards too. I've looked at a bunch from different states to compare. This is the time where composing and a lot of composition activities with 4th and especially 5th graders happen. Sometimes just getting them to, compose and put thoughts down on paper instead of just singing. Do more of creative activities with small groups instead of just whole group instruction. This time of year is perfect for that. So change up your lesson plans. If you've had something planned this week and it's not going well, instead of beating your head on the wall and trying to force it, like those little baby toys with the kids try to force the round peg into the square hole, or you know what I'm trying to say. That's not a hole really, is it? Into the square, and it's not going. That's what this time of year feels like. You're like, this is a great lesson. It's probably the best lesson plan you've ever planned. But when your students are spinning in circles on the floor, talking to their neighbor the whole time, or blurting out, or they're over there wandering around your room, yes, I've experienced all of it. And you're going, I don't know which issue to tackle first. There's too many things going on at once. Then don't do that plan. It's okay. It's okay to change it up and go, you know what? Forget it. Everybody stand up. We're going to do some movement. I can't do this. You're not listening. We're going to revisit this lesson plan next time. And sometimes that helps. Sometimes the next time you see them, for some reason, it's a better day. Maybe there wasn't a full moon last night or whatever happened that day. And you're going, what happened to these kids? This is usually one of my classes that is not like this. It's okay to change up your plans. And like I said, you can read more about that in the blog post. I go in a little bit more detail. And then the last thing I want to talk to you about is you're not the only one. We talked about this a minute ago, but you're not the only one feeling overwhelmed. You're not. You may feel like you are. You may feel like you're the only one going into school feeling overwhelmed and like, I'm the only one feeling burnout. No, you're not. Your kids are. Your students are. The other teachers are. Your principal is. The counselor is. The parents are very overwhelmed. I can testify. You guys, it's okay. It's a feeling. It's okay to feel feelings. You're not a robot unless you are, and welcome if you are, but you're a person. You're a human being and a person before you're anything else. Before you're any other role in your life, you are you. And so don't lose you in the process and just be like, I'm overwhelmed, I'm burnt out, I can't do this. This isn't me. I'm not cut out for it. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. It's a season. I mean, literally and figuratively, spring is a season. I don't even know if it's technically spring yet, but I'm counting it as spring because it's March. It's a season. Your students are going to, I call them kids because I've always called my students my kids. They're going to just be a little more cuckoo. Okay. It's normal. So feel overwhelmed, feel burnt out, but don't hold on to it. Don't internalize it. Don't make it, bigger than it is. Okay. So I want to encourage you to do that. So in the description, I'm pointing over here, but I think when I point over here, it's actually on this side for you. In the description, the latest blog post is there, and the podcast episodes, which talk about the same things. I just put a different spin on it a little bit in the podcast. And subscribe to the podcast, guys. And I would love for you to review it in iTunes so other people can find it as well. And then there is a very free webinar that you can watch all about how to have more confidence in your teaching, kind of similar to what we talked about here, but in a lot more detail. I'll give you step by step. So I will do that next week. I hope you have an amazing weekend. If you're on spring break, enjoy. If it's coming up soon, then I know you're looking forward to it. And you guys take the break you need. Sometimes just taking breaks in the school year is what helps a lot, obviously. So take the break, have fun, go on vacation or just sit and do nothing. It doesn't matter. Take the break you need. All right. I'll be back soon. I hope you guys have an amazing week. Bye.